GTV9. This is First Alert Weather Now.
Good evening and welcome to First Alert Weather Now, the Wednesday evening edition on New Year's Day. Welcome to 2025. We're going to take a look back at 2024 in a little bit, some of those vital statistics in our weather picture and see how the year wound up. We're also going to look at this storm system that's coming in over the next 24 hours. It's going to bring us some snow and another one that could as we wrap up the weekend, as well as a deeper dive into the 9-day forecast. But what you need to know as you step outside this evening is a quiet night. But then we're looking ahead to Thursday. That is when our slick road chance really does increase. Storm system will bring snow to areas south of Highway 20, with especially that Interstate 80 and points to the south, potentially seeing some of the more heavier snowfall rates during the course of the day. Now, behind that storm system, temperatures will fall already just a little bit, and they will fall a little bit more after that. So expect that to occur as we go into the weekend, as well into the portion of next week that we'll see our temperatures fall even a little bit more. Now, after that, a significant storm system does look pretty likely into the start of the following week after the weekend, and that could affect some of us, like we mentioned. Our independent city cam shows temperatures and skies that are at least partially clear in some cases. Temperatures, though, have been falling slowly. 25 in Cedar Rapids, 24 in Independence. Winds out of the west or northwest in most cases about 5 to 10 now. Dubuque still had a stronger wind speed report as of last check, but they are likely to see their winds diminish too. Here's our area of low pressure. Not much snow associated with it yet, but just as it moves into the state, we should see a band of snow develop out ahead of the low and near and north of its track. That's where we will see that snow move into our area as we head through the day tomorrow. Your evening planner involves temperatures continuing to slide into the low 20s, some upper teens in our northern counties before the snow starts. Notice it holds off until at least the very early morning hours, just near and after daybreak. Now, it has been a pretty active year around the state. Temperatures were, well, we'll find out in just a moment exactly what we faced across the state. In our little year in review here around eastern Iowa, it was a warm one in some spots, especially when you consider both our high and low temperatures. Yes, indeed. A view back of what we had so far in the year of 2024 was average highs that ran several degrees above normal. 62.9 was our average high across the entire year. That was almost 5 degrees above average in Cedar Rapids, just over 3 degrees, about 5 degrees in Waterloo, and 4.5 degrees above average in Dubuque. So yes, that warmth that we felt certainly was reflected in terms of the numbers. Our hottest day of the year, pretty much across the board, was August 27th, although Waterloo snuck in on August 26th with a 98-degree high, 96 in Cedar Rapids, and Iowa City 94 in Dubuque on the 27th. Nobody, at least in terms of the Big Four, recorded a triple-digit high for 2024. Now, our average lows were also on the warm side, but not by as large of a margin as what we saw for our highs. 41.5 degrees in Cedar Rapids was our average low, about 3 degrees above normal. Similar kind of range in Dubuque, slightly warmer in Waterloo, slightly cooler in Iowa City compared to average. Coldest temperatures, though, were certainly bone chilling. We got down to 19 degrees below zero in Cedar Rapids, 20 below in Iowa City, 15 below in Waterloo, 17 below in Dubuque. Many of those measured on January 15th. Cedar Rapids, the outlier this time, on January 14th. This was in the middle and tail end of that really snowy period during the month of January when we saw all that snow fall pretty much all at once. Cedar Rapids, Dubuque, Iowa City, Waterloo all finished above normal in terms of rainfall for this year. That's the first time we've been able to say that for a few years across the board. Waterloo was the wettest out of those with over 4 2/3 of an inch, or just about 40.95 inches of rain. Dubuque had about 40.5 inches and Cedar Rapids about 37. Now, the interesting thing is we were actually pretty far behind normal for the calendar year in terms of our snowfall. Cedar Rapids, a foot short. Waterloo, 14 inches short of what you might expect across January through December. Iowa City, 7 inches short, and Dubuque, closer, but still short. So much of that liquid rainfall, that precipitation, in terms of seeing that excess, fell as rain, not as snow.
Now, your First Alert forecast with meteorologist Corey Thompson.
Your first alert highlights snow in orange here as we look ahead for the possibility of those slick roads. We've really been emphasizing that for a couple of days, and we highlight here on your first alert the late morning into early afternoon period for that potential for those roads to get a little bit treacherous. Right now, pavement is clear of trouble out there. Our Manchester City Cam shows that quiet picture, much like we saw at the top of the program. from our Independence City cam just down the road. Temperatures in the 20s with 23 in Manchester, same in Dubuque, 25 in Cedar Rapids. Those winds have turned lighter after a very blustery day, so that is a nice change of pace that we've seen so far there. Now, pinpoint Doppler radar does show that we have little activity here around eastern Iowa at this moment. This will likely be a different story by the time we get toward late in the morning tomorrow into the afternoon. Your first alert forecast tonight, though, involves dry weather. 26 in Oskaloosa, 20 in Manchester. Clouds will be on the increase. We've still got a patch of clouds in our northeast zone at this point. It's going to move on, but not long behind that. We'll see more clouds move in. Tomorrow, our temperatures reach the upper 20s to low 30s with 26 in Fayette, 30 in Tama, 34 in Mount Pleasant. Now, it's our southern counties where that temperature gets a little bit marginal, and we'll see wetter snowfall, the northern edge of it a little bit fluffier as those temperatures get colder. But pinpoint futurecast will illustrate what we're going to see as we go over the next few hours. 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, we're seeing cloudier skies, but quiet weather still. It's 7 when we start to see our snow shower activity increase right along the western fringe of the TV9 viewing area. Marshalltown over to Tama, down to Grinnell, perhaps as far south as Oskaloosa. Some of this makes it closer to the Interstate 380 corridor by about 9. Now, I think most of the morning commute will be in okay shape for Cedar Rapids, Iowa City. Waterloo and Dubuque should be in great shape for the morning. It looks like, in fact, many areas just south of Highway 20 will be on that northern edge, and that northern edge to the snow pretty sharp. No isolated snow shower activity to the north. It's this little blob that's going to move with that area of low pressure. So as we go into the early afternoon, 2 o'clock could be at our peak in terms of those snowfall rates and the mass amount of us seeing that snowfall activity. But the back edge is starting to appear here too. And as we get closer to 4, moving toward the Mississippi River, by 5 o'clock, your evening commute looks clear of new snowfall, but roads could still be slick where the snow fell. Winds will be out of the northwest, staying fairly modest, but skies will be clearing. That's going to set up a very chilly start to the day on Friday. In terms of snowfall amounts, traced to 2 inches for the area here highlighted in white. Really, we do want to emphasize the area between about the Highway 30 corridor and Highway 22 closer to Washington. That's where we could see that 1 to 2 inch band, and there's the outside shot. We could see a higher total, but I really do think it's mostly going to fall in that range. The northern edge, again, likely fairly sharp. Now, the weekend storm system is the one we're also watching. We've been giving you the first alerts of that for a handful of days now, too. Here's Saturday evening at 8 o'clock. Precipitation already on the plains. If you've got travel interests out that way, it could be a little messy that direction. Sunday early morning, that storm system tracking off to the south, right along the Arkansas-Missouri border, putting plenty of precipitation out to the north of it, though. Snow could be as far north as about the southern third of the state of Iowa, at least as it appears right now. Farther to the south, heavy snow, freezing rain possible down toward the St. Louis area before turning to snow. By Sunday night, most of this is starting to wrap up. A few snow showers could linger on early Monday. But in terms of snowfall that causes an impact, we're talking south of Interstate 80 right now in the state. This is still several days away. Some shift could take place, could place more of us into the picture, could shift a little bit farther south. That's been the trend so far, and that could leave more of the area snow-free with this system. But the change will be temperatures. We're going to see those turn toward the 20s as we go through the next few days. Highs will be limited thanks to that. As we look ahead into the rest of your weekend and next week, that's when we're going to see those temperatures eventually turn a little bit colder too. Let's take a look at the next 9 in a little bit further depth. We'll isolate just the first 3 days to start out. Temperatures will be affected by northwesterly winds on Friday, tracking in behind that storm system. You can see those gusts will be at their strongest on Friday. A little bit better, though, for Saturday. So the start of the weekend, despite a little bit more cloud cover, could be the somewhat more pleasant day to be outside. Kind of a balancing act this time of year. Get that sunshine to help on Friday, but those winds will be stronger. Sunday and Monday is when those winds pick up a bit again as that storm system moves through. Again, we sort of showed you how it's going to be a very close call with this system in terms of where the worst impacts will be felt. It's next week when we see our highs turn back to the teens. Now, just how common is that this time of year? For the month of January, we do expect a handful of days where the highs don't get past the teens, and in fact, a few more days than that are even colder. About 1 day average each calendar year below 0, a couple in the single digits. The most common highs are in the teens or the 20s and 30s rather, but of course January can bring that variance. We know it certainly does bring some of the coldest temperatures of the year. Most, I believe all of the communities in eastern Iowa have their record coldest temperatures in the month of January, so it certainly is one to watch out for. Now, we're not setting records within the next 9 days, but certainly a change. It's certainly the coldest years or coldest days of the year we've seen so far for that prolonged of a period. Looking into next week, of course, what does the rest of January bring? What does the rest of 2025 bring? We'll find out. We'll find out together. We'll be back here tomorrow night, same place, same time. Thanks for joining us.